Hello, everyone, and welcome to this awareness and humanitarian episode. It's going to be very short. My name is Greatman Aguilara, and I am right now live in the city of Ibadan, the ancient city of Ibadan. And when I'm on the field work of charity, I try to partition myself so that I can focus on the cause of humanity. Now, a lot of people have been asking me questions in form of inquiries on the reason why I speak against religion, and then sometimes it's almost getting to a point where you could call it an insult on the elders cadre. And why don't you just focus on your humanitarian job? You look pleasant when you do that. You are so passionate about that. That's what I think you should be doing and all that. And I try to tell them that, do you know the reason why there is job for us in humanity? Do you know the reason why someone like me would be running an NGO called Crystal Love Support Foundation? Because religion is existing in our world. If there is no religion, honestly speaking, the world would be a paradise and no one will be in lack, no one will be in want. As long as we have religion, either in form of Christianity, Islam, whatever it is, people will continue to be in lack, in darkness, in want, in sickness. Now, one of your holy scriptures said that as long as the earth and the heaven remain, you will always have poor people amongst you. And this is one scripture you took to heart and you don't want to let go because you cherish the feeling you have for having poor people amongst you. You always want to have a kind of authority over other people. So either in politics you create artificial chaos, or in religion you give them a placebo, a false hope. So people perpetually live in the state of confusion, and then in that state of confusion it is easy for poverty, for ignorance to mess the rest of your life up. Now, while we try to gather money home and abroad, try to offset medical bills for people, try to help those who we can help, we also do humanitarian service in form of speaking the truth to them, because when you know the truth, your freedom is at hand. Now, we've done a lot of humanitarian job, going to the hospital, doing medical surgery for people, putting a roof over people's head, and starting up business for widows. At least we run like 5 to 10 widows every single month, making sure they have a source of income so that they don't continue to be a burden on the society. Most of these widows who have benefited from our programs are widows whose husband used to be pastors in most of the churches. Just because Apostle Paul said in the Bible that those widows who have not gotten to the age of 70 or 60 should not be taken care of in the church. Most of your churches took it to hand and refused to cater for them. So we do not know if you are old or if you are young. If you lose your spouse and your spouse happens to be the breadwinner, we will help you. We will try to be your supporter. Send the children to school. Now, it is only normal for you as a humanitarian person to gather data during the course of your work. I hear a lot of people say about Bill Gates when he was talking in 2015 that there's going to be epidemic. They say, okay, he's a member of Illuminati, World Order, and all of those things, that they are the one manufacturing most of this virus and infecting people with it and all that. What you do not know is that if you are an humanitarian person, you have advantage to know what is going to happen next because you work with people. You are in and out of the hospital, you are in and out of the clinic. So you know how diseases interact, how human beings are actually giving these diseases opportunity to mutate. So when Ebola broke out, he was able to get the doctors to look at, okay, what else are we going to fight with in the future? And he came up with the hypothesis of this current coronavirus, and they started working on it ever since then, even though it caught up with them in a very mega way. Now, in working with people and for people, we have realized a thing that majority of the problem we face in Nigeria as a country is the problem of population. We have limited resources and more than enough people. So if there is a loaf of bread that should be able to satisfy the hunger of one person, there are up to 7 people waiting for that same loaf of bread. Now the problem of malnutrition is there. The economic problem is there too. But look at this particular data I'm going to share with you. In 1960, the total population by birth of the whole of UK was 52.4 million people. 1960, 52.4 million people. In 1960, the total population of Nigeria was 45 million people. 1960, 45 million people. You can fast forward it back to 2020 right now. The total population of UK by birth and all is still 55 million people. From 52.4 to 55 or 56, 56 million people. Now the total population of Nigeria currently is over 200 million people. Look at the value of pounds in 1960 in Nigeria and the value of pounds now. Now you see that the more we have kids, the more we reproduce, the more we increase in population, the poorer we become. Not because we don't have resources to cater for it, but because we have irresponsible leaders. So if we have limited resources, what should we do? We should also have safe and planned reproduction, such that we don't only give birth to children we can cater for adequately, we also give birth to children who are healthy enough. Now in that wise, I discovered that most times when we are called to come into a rescue mission with children, say that they are born with some birth defect and all that, biological error during formation. Now I started working with doctors. Now I realized that if we have safe sex as couples, as parents, there is possibility for us to give birth to sound children who are sound. Hold on please, excuse me please. Hello. Sorry, I lodge in an hotel, so I'm trying to order for food, and that's what we are trying to battle with. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, and I might still interrupt you one more time. So, most people believe in this part of the world that because we are married, we should just go ahead and have sex and have children. They do not plan the children they want to have. Now, you as an adult, you have a very huge and good immune system. Your immune system is such that even if you have some infection in your body right now, it is under probability that your immune system could kill that infection. For every mankind, you can see staphylococcus on your skin and every part of your body. But if they are not malfunctioning or messing with you, we still don't treat them as infection. So many people in Nigeria, they delay their urine. That causes a lot of infection, UTI, urinary tract infection within them. The same organ you use to urinate and all that, you also use it to procreate. When you have UTI in your urethral tract as a man, or even you are not hygiene enough as a woman, women using vagina tightening, women using soap to wash their vagina, thereby unbalancing the pH level of that place, you are giving room for infection. Please hold on. Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Sorry, I'm on a live broadcast. You can leave it here. Is it possible you come back in the next 15 minutes? I'll be here. Okay? All right, just. I'm sorry. You can just close the door when you're done. Just 15 minutes, please. All right. So, those kind of ailments, when you are reproducing, those germs are capable of forming with the egg during zygote, and the bacteria and germs begin to grow with the child, thereby giving birth to genetically weak children with Down syndrome, children with cerebral palsy, and all of those things. Those are the children that we have to now raise money for to go and be treated in the hospital when you could avoid it at the stage of conception. We have our women in the interior villages and rural villages also who are drinking alcohol while they are pregnant. There used to be a time when in Yoruba land they would tell a pregnant woman not to walk under the sun in the noontime, that there's going to be some monster that will possess her and all that. Well, it is not true. But scientifically, some element of the sun, if they have direct contact with your tummy, and they could get into the fetus or the child in your womb, there is probability that they also affect the child's mental balance and all that. That was why our parents in those days forbid our women to walk in the sun. Scientifically, it has been proven now. All those strains and stains of germs and bacteria in your urethral tract, in your vaginal area, when you want to conceive, they have probability of also forming and weakening that particular egg or fetus in your body. The people in the rural village do not know all of this. They take alcohol during that time, they do stressful work, they go through a lot of turmoil. It is by luck and chances that some of them give birth to healthy children. Now we talk about the issue of genotype, AS, and all of those things. In villages, they call them Ogbanje, Abiku, and several kinds of names. It is out of their ignorance. Now, if we go there to give them this information that it is necessary for you to check your genotype before you get married to someone or start to procreate, there is possibility that we have lesser sickler or children with sickle cell anemia in the world today. Just like everyone is doing their best to curtail the outbreak of coronavirus. Now, this is not a matter of he or she is the love of my life. We need to go and tell them those things. The government of the nation is not making this available for them. People in Nigeria will really have light, not to mention watching even NTA. Not all Nigerians have access to internet like you and I to now tell them to go to Google. And even if they can get to Google, what will an illiterate person living in the village do with Google? So we talk about that. And then planned reproduction also. Planned reproduction comes when we have to space our children. Now, you need to give birth to children that you are capable of financing. Enough of you creating a bad uncle for your children and bringing some generational curses and letting some people think some of their uncle who are not helping them is the source of their problem. You are the one creating hatred in your family. Give birth only to children that you can cater for. Now you tell me that children are the gift of God. Will God also gift you food to feed them? This mentality of whatever a child wants to eat, they bring it from heaven. Has anyone been fed by opening their mouth to the sky? This information we need to tell them. Now, we had to go into villages in rural area to tell them all of these things. Take care, give birth only to children you want to take care of. And if you don't have money to take care of a child, it is not compulsory for you to give birth to a child. Enough of you creating social burden We have a lot of almajiris, we have a lot of homeless children, we have a lot of homeless teenagers in the world today, in our country, in our villages, who are fending for themselves. They were born into a life that they never called for. And we also have these kind of children also in prisons. You know, we do prison project. We go to prisons, we see women giving birth to children in the prison. Children who are inheriting the imprisonment of their own parents. We want to be able to also take them out to give them a balanced society, a balanced mentality. Now, talk about sexual adventure. People want to have a lot of sexual adventure. And you will think that only you that have access to Pornhub or some pornography site is the only one who knows how to do all those crazy sexual style. Humankind are beginning to get beyond their own limit these days by exploring some origins or some zones in the body that was not meant for sexual intercourse. A man who wants to have anal sex with a wife, we cannot tell you not to have anal sex with your wife, even though it is stupid and very nonsensical. Now, when you have anal sex with a woman, you are putting your life at risk. How? Because the rectum and the anal opening is filled up with billions of germs and bacteria. While you pass that through your urethral tract and it goes through your reproductive organs and get into your bloodstreams, thereby giving you some kind of incurable ailment, the woman also will have the risk of suffering from latex breakage. When you have this sex with this place, because the place was not meant to have a secretion, you begin to break the latex in that area of your body. It breaks today, heals tomorrow, break today, heals tomorrow, until it is not healable and it becomes a cancer. Now, aside that, while you are having anal sex with a woman, we try to also want to tell them in the villages that you must not at the same time having anal sex also have vaginal sex. When you pull out your penis from the anus, don't go straight and put it in the vagina, because you are bringing bacteria into the vaginal origin. While you are trying to puke and ejaculate, you are only mixing your own body fluid with the bacteria and germs that you took away from the anus. And if those things form the child, the egg or whatever zygote that will form the child at the end of the day, you are giving birth to an unhealthy child. Men who engages in wearing boxers or briefs for more than a day, we need to talk to them. Women who also put on some of the apparatus that are meant for beach wearing and all that, and also engage in so many things like all these bomb that is filled up with almost like a latex material instead of cotton. We need to also talk to them that the more you increase the temperature of your reproductive area, the more bacteria that breeds in that side. A man who wants to give birth now is suffering from low sperm count. We want to also let them know that in reproduction, there is a reason why nature puts your testes outside your body, because the temperature needed for your testes is different from the temperature needed for your body. But we have fashion vogue now where men want to put on tight trousers and also tight panties or tight boxers, whereby they make sure that their testes is constantly touching their laps, which is not meant to, because they need different level of temperature. Now, we need to talk to them about that also. Now, somebody is saying, what about men who like to suck women pussy and all that? This is meant to be an adult broadcast. It's not meant for your children. So I want to give you details of what you stand to gain if you partner with us in this SRP. SRP means SPR means safe and planned reproduction. Men who love to suck women's vagina, Well, it has nothing to do with reproduction. But this is what I want to let you know. If you engage in sucking women's vagina, there is a certain kind of bacteria that has been traced to those who have throat cancer, cancer of the esophagus, cancer of the esophagus. You can research all these things. And this particular bacteria, it's not easily, because it can leak, it can actually stick to the latex of your esophagus, this your vocal cord, and not get into your tummy. If it manages to get into your tummy, the gastric juice will actually make mess of it and you will digest it. But if this bacteria is actually attaching itself to the latex of your esophagus, you have the probability of having the cancer of the throat, the cancer around there. So most of the men that has been diagnosed of this particular kind of cancer, the traces of it is linked to you going down with your women. But then if a woman is clean and she's hygiene enough, well, I think it's okay. And it's left for you. I don't know what you're looking for actually, but if that what pleases your woman, well, but it has nothing to do with reproduction. But we're trying to talk about what you stand to gain if you partner with us. What you stand to gain is that we will be reproducing healthy humankind, especially of Nigerian descent. Humankind that we will not need to maintain for the rest of their lives. In the ancient times, when we give birth to a sickly child, we allow the child to die because we call it a process of which the universe is retrieving bad product. When you manufacture bad cars under the oath of manufacturing, you need to recall it. So we allow the universe or nature to recall such a child. Or then we begin to have medical breakthrough and we start maintaining such children. Now, the cash we supposed to use for maybe 7 or 10 children, we are now investing it in a single child that was born sickly. Now, we are not saying terminate your sick child. We are saying we should not continue to reproduce sick children. When we observe all of this hygiene, now there is nothing wrong in you. When you want to give birth or you want to conceive, take your partner, married or unmarried, I don't know your arrangement. Take your partner to the nearest clinic, check your sperm, not because you are not fertile. Check your sperm. Let her also do what we call pap test or smear test. Check if there are no traces of bacteria or germs in your reproductive organ, so you don't keep reproducing children who are not fit enough, who are not healthy enough. And then during your sexual intercourse with yourself, maintain a very hygiene sexual intercourse. I know you want to do a lot of adventure, you want to do a lot of crazy stuff, you guys want to kill each other, you want to run each other mad. But if this particular exercise is for conception, please respect nature and do it in a way that the child will be given birth to will not be a sorrow to you. Now, you might be the one attacking your own finance, you might be the devourer of your own life. It might not be something from your village people, it might be a little mistake of your hygiene that is messing up the life of your child, whom you will be spending too much money on. We have spent a lot of money. Last year alone, we spent close to 5 million naira on sick children, 5 million good naira on sick children. This year, I told my board of trustees, we cannot continue to put money in an unending hole. We need to go ahead and sensitize our people and also make them know that stop producing children that will be wasting money on. Produce healthy children. And then in producing children, produce children in line with your own pocket. Don't produce children that will come and inherit your poverty. It is possible for your child to live a life of more than enough. You know your pocket for the next 10 years can only cater for one child. Why are you having 3? Somebody was asking me that, why is it that poor people give birth a lot? I said, because poor people think of nothing but to have sex. That's the reason why most of the rich people in the world today, they have 1, 2 children. They have even enough to save for the children for their own future to also enjoy themselves. Now you give birth to children and before you call the 5th one, you have actually run their name from boo, e, before you remember your own children. Give back to only the ones you can take care of. Now, we have started consultation. I was in Oyo State, Ibadan, precisely last week to address all of the ballet in Oyo State. I was lucky enough. They gave me hearing, and then most of them also identified what we want to do, and they asked us to come back for local government consultation. You know, this is ancient Yoruba town. A ballet is in charge of maybe Mogaji, Balele, Agbale, and all that by their own local government. So one of the local government will be going to tomorrow is Onoara local government around Oremeji. I just spoke to the ballet now as I got into the city of Ibadan. We'll be talking to them, pitching with them. They'll be giving us a place to use and also a time to come. Another thing we are trying to do with all of these local governments is to erect an information center in all of the local government. But if we are lucky enough to have two local governments that are so near to one another, we'll be erecting one information center for two local governments to start with. Now, this information center will have an expert that will be resuming there 10 a.m. in the morning, closing 3 p.m. in the evening, in the afternoon, Tuesday to Saturday, where a woman who doesn't understand English can easily just go and get information about reproduction, sex, whatever it is that is in vogue. A man who is trying to make a family can easily just walk in. This information center will also be serving as a counseling center for people going through domestic abuse. People need to know their rights domestically also. If you are also going through battery with your spouse and all that, instead of you to die, talk to a person in those information center who will link you up with a human rights organization. If what you need is a job or what you need is food and all of those things, there will be our first go-to person. We'll be erecting this particular kiosk where people can go to. We'll be furnishing the place with television where people can go to and hear the current news according to United Nations standard in their own local language. For example, if we are doing it in Abuja, the kind of voiceover that will be giving you the information you need in our center will be presented to you in Hausa. If it is Ibadan, for instance, it will not be in English, it will be in Yoruba. Easily just come around our local center in the evening, have your seat and hear the latest according to what the United Nations, WHO, UNICEF, Red Cross, and all those international charity bodies are doing and what they expect of humanity. I realized that it is lack of information that make the formation possible for our people. Now, where do you come in as a partner with us? Do you have a business? Are you an SME person? Are you a big brand person? You can partner with us where we take your logo everywhere we go to as a partner in form of cash. And then if you have product or souvenir you want us to give to people, we can also give to them in all of these centers that will be doing this workshop. But local government, we budget for 2 to 3 days for each dissemination. We're going to be having teaching materials for people to be able to grasp the knowledge on time. And if you're also an individual, we understand that all over the world now there is economic meltdown, people are not going to work. But if you have just little stipends, just little change with you, you want to spare for us to be able to move around ruthlessly because we are doing a nationwide tour where we are disseminating this information. We also appreciate you. At the end of this particular broadcast, I will be putting in the contact or the account detail of our organization in this broadcast. You can partner with us. Are there other things you want to also share with us? We will also be readily available to disburse it to the people. We believe by this, when we get so close to the grassroots and the community, it is easy for us to now begin to identify those ones who are truly in need and how we can solve their problem. So we believe that this world could be a paradise. We can make it happen. We don't need to wait for God or wait for any Messiah. We are our own God, we are our own Messiah, except we want to be irresponsible and zone every good thing to where they call afterlife. Now, it's not going to be useful in heaven or hell if you get there. All the goodness you can give, you need to give it while you are alive, because in the grave, everything become useless. This is the best way we know how to bring good news to people. Whoever you give this particular information, especially the women, will use it to make their life better. And you know what happened is that by consequence, we will be saving the life of those children instead of them inheriting poverty from their parents, inheriting sicknesses, ailments from their parents. They will be living more healthy life. And if we use money to disseminate this information now, it will save us money from taking them to the hospital for surgery and constantly supporting them. We don't know if we cook rice every single morning, give to people. We don't know if we are feeding a criminal. Because if there is no parental figure to model these children, they can still be whatever they want to be. That is not good enough for our society. But if a woman or a man come together to have a child, one child that they can cater for, even if we give them food, we know they will be giving the children training. So these are the things you stand to benefit when you partner with us. We'll be creating more awareness regarding this. Thank you very much for listening to me. And today is not to tell you about religion, Christianity, or Islam. Today is to tell you that if you tell me you believe in Jesus, if you tell me you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you think for a moment there is a God in heaven, this is a time for you to prove to me what you have been saying to me. This is not a time for you to send the like button, the love button, the kudos button, and all those. I'm glad we are enjoying you. This is time for you to come and spring to action. We are here as a connection between you and the people you want to serve. Someone was asking me this morning that if you are not a Christian and you are not a Muslim, who do you serve? And I said, I serve humanity, because humanity is my religion. And in doing that, I bring hope to the hopeless, love to the unloved, and I bring the real good news, healing to those who are sick. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Greatman Ayilara. We appreciate your support. And do us a favor, press your share button and let other people in your network also know about this. You never can tell. Our sponsor might be in your network. Thank you very much and have a nice time now. I gotta rest and eat.